In a development that has taken the international community by surprise and marks a dramatic escalation in U.S. foreign policy, dozens of American B-52 Stratofortress bombers have been swiftly deployed on a high-speed transit towards the Caribbean. This mobilization, reminiscent of Cold War-era tactics, was triggered by an unprecedented emergency, further exacerbating the growing tensions between the United States and Venezuela. The swift execution of this operation, bypassing usual public notifications, has sent a stark message to Caracas and its allies, a decisive departure from the more measured responses seen in recent months. The sequence of events began earlier in the day when a U.S.-flagged oil tanker, part of a critical convoy navigating the southern Caribbean's shipping lanes, was struck by a sophisticated long-range missile. Initial intelligence reports confirmed that the missile had been fired from a coastal defense battery positioned on Venezuela's northern coast. Despite the tanker being in international waters, the missile's trajectory and signature pointed directly to a state-sponsored attack. This blatant violation of international law and a direct assault on U.S. assets marked the threshold for a rapid, decisive response. In a matter of minutes, the order was given for a massive deployment, not merely a punitive strike but a demonstration of overwhelming military readiness and a clear deterrent to further escalation. From their home bases at Barksdale Air Force Base in Louisiana and Minot Air Force Base in North Dakota, the B-52s were swiftly launched. The deafening sound of these legendary aircraft taking off in succession reverberated across the region, a chilling echo of the Cold War era, yet within a modern context of strategic urgency. The crews, operating under an emergency directive, were on an expedited non-stop flight path, accompanied by airborne refueling tankers already in the air to meet them. The B-52 Stratofortress, with its unrefueled range exceeding 8,000 miles, is a versatile, lethal platform, capable of carrying up to 70,000 pounds of mixed ordnance, including bombs, missiles, and smart weapons. It embodies America's long-range power projection. By deploying these bombers, the U.S. was not signaling an intention for a limited engagement, but rather reinforcing its preparedness to engage with full force if necessary. This extraordinary speed and efficiency were far from a public relations maneuver. Rather, it was a combat-ready operation. The B-52s, some of the oldest aircraft in the U.S. arsenal, are modernized with cutting-edge avionics, navigation systems, and weapons upgrades, ensuring they remain relevant in the 21st century battle space. The strategic flight path was meticulously planned, bypassing populated areas and heading directly toward the Caribbean, where a comprehensive command and control infrastructure had already been established to support the bombers. Despite having some advanced Russian hardware, Venezuela's military is vastly outmatched technologically and numerically by the U.S. Its primary air defense systems, including the Russian S-300VM, are formidable, but they would be severely challenged by a coordinated mass deployment of U.S. strategic bombers. The presence of these bombers, along with electronic warfare capabilities, would force Caracas to reveal its most sensitive and capable air defense positions, exposing vulnerabilities that could be exploited in the event of further conflict. This deployment not only serves as a test of Venezuela's air defense capabilities, but also highlights the U.S. military's ability to disrupt and degrade Venezuela's command and control infrastructure from a distance. The B-52s, which can carry long-range cruise missiles such as the AGM-158 JAS-M, are capable of striking key Venezuelan military installations without ever entering the range of Venezuela's air defenses. This ensures that the U.S. can incapacitate crucial targets without exposing its aircraft or crews to risk, making a punitive strike feasible from safe, international airspace. The psychological impact on Venezuela, its military, and its population cannot be understated. The mere presence of this overwhelming force alters the strategic calculus for all involved, reinforcing the perception that the U.S. is prepared to escalate the conflict if necessary. For Caracas, the response has been swift and forceful. President Nicolas Maduro's government has declared a state of heightened alert across all branches of the military. Venezuela's air defense systems have been fully activated, with military jets and fast attack boats deployed to shadow U.S. aircraft and patrol the coast. State media has denounced the B-52 deployment as a provocation, framing it as an imperialist act of aggression. For the U.S., this deployment was more than a demonstration of power. It was an intelligence-gathering exercise. By forcing Venezuela to reveal the locations of its key air defense systems, the U.S. gains invaluable insights into the country's military readiness and weaknesses. This intelligence will be critical should the situation escalate into a broader conflict. The global reaction to the B-52 deployment has been swift and mixed. While U.S. allies such as Colombia and Brazil have supported the move, viewing it as a demonstration of American resolve, nations with a history of distrust toward U.S. military intervention, such as Bolivia and Nicaragua, have voiced concerns. The Community of Latin American and Caribbean States, CELAC, has called for restraint, urging all parties to respect the region's status as a zone of peace. The diplomatic fragmentation within the region underscores the divisions over U.S. military presence in the hemisphere. Russia and China, Venezuela's primary international allies, have strongly condemned the U.S. deployment. Moscow's response, while critical, is tempered by caution. Russia has indicated its commitment to Venezuela's sovereignty, but is unlikely to engage directly in a military confrontation with the U.S. in the Western Hemisphere. Instead, Moscow's support is expected to come in the form of increased military supplies and intelligence sharing. China, meanwhile, has called for de-escalation, primarily due to its economic investments in Venezuela's oil sector. A direct military conflict threatens not only China's investments, but could disrupt global energy markets, which would have far-reaching consequences. As the U.S. B-52 bombers continue their mission, the situation remains fluid. The U.S. now faces a decision on whether to maintain this heightened posture, potentially leading to a prolonged standoff, or to de-escalate once its objectives are met. Each option carries significant risks. A continued military presence in the region would keep the pressure on Venezuela, but would also require substantial logistical support and could provoke unintended escalation. On the other hand, a de-escalation could be perceived as a sign of weakness, inviting future provocations. For Venezuela, the B-52 deployment marks a pivotal moment. The Maduro government has long relied on anti-U.S. rhetoric to maintain internal cohesion. But the scale of this U.S. military response presents an unprecedented challenge. The Venezuelan military, despite its loyalty to Maduro, is acutely aware of its limited ability to counter a full-scale U.S. military operation. The deployment has stripped away the veneer of Venezuelan defiance, revealing the strategic fragility of its position. In conclusion, the B-52 deployment is not merely a show of force. It represents a calculated shift in U.S. foreign policy, a move that is both a direct response to Venezuela's aggression and a test of its ability to project power in the Western Hemisphere. The world watches closely as this crisis unfolds, knowing that any misstep could trigger a broader conflict with potentially devastating consequences.